Thank you, Christine. Wow, it's so exciting to see you here in the flesh instead of through a computer screen. I'm really, really delighted to be here. It's really an important time. We're here celebrating traditional land. It's also Juneteenth. It's also Pride Month. And so it's really a time for us to be thinking about how we live and how we love and how we take care of each other. Today I'm going to go a little bit wide of the Medhow Valley and read a series of poems I wrote on the Wenatchee watershed, examining the nature of land and water ownership as part of the Icicle Fund residency that I did. What is this place? There are still birds filling the morning air with song above the yawn of wind, mosquitoes aplenty for food, vine maple keys, shadbush in bloom, beaver signs in water bisected by dead trees in this pool off White River, the big drainage from Glacier Peak, Napiqua. On the trail where shallow-rooted Doug fir fell over winter, trunks stacked waist-high must be climbed to get here. They're like sentinels, arms crossed in stern welcome. This place is sacred. Water flows to feed what lives below. Homestead, orchard, city. Air is born here, cleaned and freed to sustain you, visitor. White River, Tall Timber Ranch. Snow picks out seams on Chihuahua Mountain, feeds the Napiqua that meets White River under the one-lane bridge. Horseflies the size of hummingbirds hover and land, a reminder that this body is an animal with hot blood they need for food. The water sidles past in no particular hurry. Light picked out silver where it ripples over stones. Cottonwood flies in flurries of fluff, catches in rocky pools. It's hot, late May down here on the valley floor, shades on the other side, and I cannot cross over. Lodgepole pines hold up the sky, scent the air. The understory is lush green leaves of maples, so close to the bank they must be underwater in early spring. A net of roots hangs bleached where land has worn away from river rising and rushing when it's high. Come summer, it will be a narrow thread between life and death. Wenatchee River, Swiftwater Picnic Area, Tumwater. All this fury as you pass through the channel you made eons ago. You are the sound of what remains. Around you, everywhere, change. Towns sprung up from your water like weeds, like some crop that draws feeders, people swarming like insects. Here, the drone of motorcycles is erased. You are your own theme, a fringe of wildness just off the road. There's no way down to where you tear by, nowhere safe at least. Your western side rises straight up, a mix of burnt trees and new growth. Green still, summer a month away. I cannot see, but I know on that flank life adapts, thrives. We're at the point where we must change or die, but in our absence, you will take back what is yours, remain alive. So the interesting thing about the Wenatchee watershed is that, of course, it passes through these incredibly densely populated towns, Wenatchee and Leavenworth and so forth, and it's really stunning to go from these beautiful kind of remote locations on the watershed and then back into traffic with all that. So I found my way to this beautiful little place, which I really recommend you, a little picnic spot there, where the water is just tearing past at breakneck speed. Nasik-El, Icicle Creek. Hidden on the north side of Nasik-El, under the boughs of cedar that bend down as if to drink a whole universe of moss. It's like a dream of earth before white men came, green and lush and variegated. Tiny lakes dot the land where last night's rain is caught, reflecting back sky and branch. At water's edge, a broken cedar knee, worn smooth with years, bows to river's song, its long-throated hymn to those gone from this bankside camp. Not the white-haired man in his camper van, not me here enjoying this stolen solace. I say hymn, but maybe it's a song of moving on, taking everything along to the open sea, a death and birth song, I belong to me. We had the privilege of a Zoom session with Mary Big Bull Lewis, who spoke to us about the Piscosa, the Wenatchee, the Yakima people. Icicle Creek in the Piscosa language is Nasik Elk. So I'm borrowing that for this title just to keep it rooted in its origins. Lesson in Survival, Bridge Creek. Such abundance here, water fierce and loud, crushing down the steep drop of rock ledge. Rock itself, a whole island of it, home to moss and spindly tree, a scatter of offspring that hug its base along the bank, and dotted there, wild carrot, cottonwood. River boils white with spray, turns to green quartzite where it breaks, throws up liquid pearls or wet confetti, a celebration of itself. Here is what water knows. It is all one thing. Winter's snow, last night's rain, river, lake, stream. You cannot separate it from itself. Even as it goes, it remains. Peshastin pinnacles. Trapped in time and stone, great salmon leap high above the Wenatchee. They are all thrust, faces lifted to sky. They swim in blue stem, lupin, accompanied by snake and cougar. Sacred space hemmed in by power lines and acres of peaches. Humans have sunk metal hooks into their sides to climb them, mount their backs. The old ones say these are gods of bounty from when Piscosa roamed, fished, lived in harmony with the land, power in water, free. And then just two more that I wrote on the Sleeping Lady campus. Leavenworth Fish Hatchery. Just below the bridge across the spillway, a small group of native fishers, Yakima or Wenatchee, Piscosa, two men, a woman, and a boy with blunt black hair. They all cast with rod and reel. One man wore a blue tank top that bore the US flag. His line went taut, rod arced, but no fish on his hook when he reeled it in. It was just a snag. White people are also salmon people. When they came here to the Northwest, our ancestors thought salmon too inexhaustible, didn't understand cycles of plenty and scarcity. The hatcheries would ensure supply. They dammed the rivers, claimed the rights to fish and water. One more commodity extracted from rivers, our lifeline. Now we question the dams, diversions that pull water from river where fish thrive, to breed fish, to return to river to live. We've created a new cycle, fish ladders, spawn, sport fishing of catch and release, water cultivated, parcel commodified. Sleeping Lady Canal. It's deceptive, deep, green, and wide, this man-made tributary from the Icicle. I stop between trees, maple and pine, where grass is knee-deep, and wind through black branches and leaves shushes the sound of the spillway just north of here. There's a narrow cut in the bank where water laps, and I butt slide down until my boots touch mica-flecked, wet gray sand. I want to strip naked and slip in, swim across to the other side, leaves caught in my hair, but I almost feel the pull of the drop where water thins over concrete to plunge into a wild white pool. Sometimes it feels like a thin line between dying and staying alive. But bankside, with the penstemon, these ancient trees, and firm ground beneath me, I'm anchored to this side.